In every instance of page, we want effect. Then we have to apply by using type. If we want to choose where we want, then ID. But ID problem, only one. That means only one set of effects you can define. Multiple effects you cannot. Then you can go with class. So depending on requirement, we use them. Next important, some selectors already we learned. Classes and all in different examples I showed you, but as the list I will show here. Another one is rational selectors. Rational selectors, we have two options here. One is parent and the child, space child. We call this as what? Child selector. Parent space child. This is a child selector. Rational selectors, you have parent child. This is called child selector. Here there is a space between parent and child. That means that is called there is a blank space here. We have parent space child. That means it is a child selector. It configures, it can access all child elements under specific parent from any level. That is what actually parent child. Parent and child selector. In rational, we have a parent child. Parent child is nothing but parent element space child element. We give like this. For example, syntactically we write like this. Syntactically we define ULLI. What does this means? All list items inside unordered list space. For example, you written like this, now space div. This indicates all divs inside now. So this refers to all divs inside now. Parent space child. We call this as parent and child selectors. Generally, child selectors are defined by using space. So here you have another symbol, parent and greater than child. This is called direct child. We have direct child selector. So you have parent and child. We call it as direct child selector. Space is all elements from any level. From any level, all elements is defined with space. And this greater than indicates only the child selector, and that is direct child. Direct child means it cannot access if element is at multi-level hierarchy. It is at multi-level hierarchy. If it is directly present, then only it can access. I will show examples, we'll see. So now here syntactically we write like this. We have nav and div. Like this we can write. So it will access the divs that are present inside navigation, but only direct divs. What does direct divs means? I will show you. Let's see. So here, parent child hierarchy is how you can access. I will show you. The parent child hierarchy to access is, suppose I am having here a simple configuration. There is a nav. In this nav, we are having a div. So this div is having home. Another div, some about. Another div like shop. Another div like contact. Like this we are having. And a div like blog. Like this we have. But one div, this is shop, is present in a span. It is present in a span. We have it. Now, what is the difference here? Means what is the point? Here the point is in the nav. You have some divs configured, but shop is not direct div. It is present under another hierarchy. So if I write like this, nav space div, and I will put a color as red, it is going to apply to all divs, because what is the meaning of space? All, from any level of hierarchy. From any level of hierarchy it can access. Everyone will apply. For example, now I am giving here an greater than symbol, angle bracket. So it will apply only to direct childs. Direct childs, you see, shop is not applied. Why shop is not applied? Because shop is, it is present in another level. It is not direct. Because you saw here, it is present in some span. The direct childs of nav are home, about, contact, and blog. So what is difference between space and this greater than? Space will apply at any level you have, and greater than will apply only to the child, direct child elements. That is actually direct child means. Next we have general siblings. We have general siblings. General siblings, and general sibling is nothing but it configured, it can access all elements that are defined after specific. All elements that are defined after specific. So it is configured with tilde symbol. You have a tilde symbol. It is configured with tilde symbol. That means in syntax, we defined A tilde B. A and B are elements. We have adjacent sibling. Adjacent siblings. It can access only adjacent element. So it is defined with, it is configured with plus. It is configured with plus. Already we know this adjacent we learned. That means here we have syntax, some A element plus B element. So this is just elements, huh? Elements just roughly I am giving. A element and B element plus. Now, for example, so general siblings, adjacent siblings. Suppose I am giving here like this. We are defining a heading. We have a heading like web technologies. Inside this, we have some paragraphs, HTML, CSS, so Bootstrap like this, JavaScript, some options are there. Now I written heading 2 space paragraph, color is red. Now tell me for which paragraph it will apply. For which paragraph it will apply? It will not apply to any paragraph. All paragraphs are inside heading, huh? Then how? What does space means? That space means child. Child means they must be inside heading, na? Are these inside heading? Then how? They are not inside heading. So that means it is not going to apply anywhere. These are not inside, they are adjacent to heading. These all are adjacent to heading, means after that. Sibling means like you say brother, sister. That means elder, older, after, before. This is actually sibling means after. So here we are defining, now I am writing plus. Plus means adjacent sibling. Adjacent means that comes immediately after it. Immediately after means for which one it will apply? HTML. Only for HTML it will apply that effect. All siblings. All sibling means everybody after heading. Every paragraph after heading that you define by using tilde. Tilde is used to access all after that. If you want to access inside, then you have to use space. If you want to access after, then you have to use plus or tilde. So these are the rational selectors. So rational selectors, let me give you the summary. We have blank space. This is for child. Greater than, this is for direct child. We have plus, this is for adjacent. Tilde is for all siblings. Blank space is child. This indicates, you can say, all child elements. This is only direct child elements. Plus is for adjacent and tilde is for all siblings. This is important. So we have, after this, another option is how to define the third important rational selectors. These are example I will give here. Let me copy this. Just this is a rough example for that. There you can change plus tilde symbol, you will understand. Now, next important in the selectors, we have dynamic pseudo classes. We have some dynamic pseudo classes. What is the meaning of dynamic? The meaning of dynamic is they are not standard. According to situation, they will change. They are not constant. They will change according to situation. That is dynamic. What is meant by pseudo? Pseudo means it's a false representation. It's a false representation. False representation is nothing but it looks like one, but it will behave like another. It changes itself. We call it as what? Pseudo. That means it will not behave in the same how it looks. It will change itself. That is dynamic pseudo. Class means, so usually dynamic allows to change according to state and situation. Dynamic allows to change according to state and situation. According to the situation, if it is changing, then it is called as dynamic. So pseudo is a false representation for element. So which changes according to state. That means it may look like one, but it will behave in another when it according to the situation. Another class means class is a program template. So in computer programming, it is a program template in computer programming. So generally in computer programming, you will come across with the word class. Class means it's a program template. What is meant by a program template? A program template means it comprises of predefined data and logic, which you can customize according to requirements and implement. So what is a class in computer programming? You will have this class in all OOP concepts. So when you are learning object-oriented programming, you will learn about the concept of class. Usually, if anyone asks what is a class, you may say that class is a model blueprint. So, but technically class is a program template. Program template means it contains ready-made logic and functionality. You have to just use it without need of writing it. That means if I have to do any work, I have to write lot of logic. But already logic is written. Just you have to use it. You don't need to use in the same way. You can customize according to your requirements. You can change it. That is what the concept of class. For example, I will show you. Suppose, first I will show you what is the point of class. Suppose I want to change the color of heading when mouse is over the heading. So that means when mouse is over the heading, I want to change color of heading. Then the question is how you know mouse is over or not. To know mouse is over or not, actually we have to write an event called on mouse over. We have to write an event on mouse over. To know that it is out, you have to write another event on mouse out. On mouse out. And for both, you need to write some logic. You need to write some functionality. That means set color is one function, and clear color, reset color is another function. Now I have to write a script with two functions. Don't worry about what I am writing, just observe the concept. We have set color and another function called reset color. Set color, I have to access the heading, and to that we have to apply a style color called red. We will apply red. And on reset, we will access that heading, and we need to put a style color as some black. So to understand whether mouse is over or not, and to apply some effects, you need to write a lot of logic. And when I write this logic, you can see when mouse is over, its color will change. When mouse is out, it will be normal. To happen this, to make it happen, I have to write a lot of logic. I have written just now. Now what CSS have done? They already written logic for this. They already written logic for this. Then it's good. We can save our time. And what they have done is they written already all the logic for this. And this logic they kept under one class name. This logic they kept under a name. They kept under a name called hover. Hover is a class. Under that hover class, all this logic is written. Now you don't need to write this logic. Just implement this class on this heading. That means make this heading to use this class, so that whatever logic is there, it will work for that particular heading. That's the concept of class. Class is a program template. Means it is predefined with some data and logic. That data and logic we can access and use from anywhere. It is not necessary to use in the same way. You can customize, you can change. That means in one heading it will be red color, another heading black color, or its size will change, anything you can do. So technically, what is a class? Now instead of doing all this, I remove all the logic, I remove all the functionality, and you can see now it is normal. I will access that heading and I will apply a class on it. That is by using colon. Colon is inheritance operator. It inherits a class. And what is the class name? Hover. This class will verify is mouse is over or not. If mouse is over, then what effects you want? We just put color as red. That means automatically when mouse is over, it will be red, out, normal. The same thing we done just before this, but lot of logic I have to write. This is one great advantage of latest CSS. Earlier we have to depend lot on JavaScript. Actually you have to write like that. But now simple classes are available. You can apply those classes and you can achieve the functionality in a simpler way. So technically What is the meaning of dynamic pseudo classes? That means these are responsible for accessing an element and changing the appearance of element according to situation. That is why they are called as what? Dynamic pseudo classes. So why it is pseudo? It's have a false behavior. That means what behavior you see, it is not standard, it changes. It works in a different way when mouse is over or you clicked. It works in a different. So we have so many important dynamic classes, like we have colon, we have hover. It defines actions on mouse over. We have active. It defines actions on mouse down. That means this is actually hold down mouse button. So that is hover, that is active. You have another one, that is link. It defines actions for hyperlink in a normal state. Visited. It defines effects for visited links. So we have hover, active, link, and visited. You remembered already, we learned another one, target. While working with hyperlinks, I showed you. So target defines effects for link when it is target. So actually, you know that element becomes target on link click. This I showed you while working with intra-document links. While learning intra-document links, I showed you if we cannot scroll, then how to highlight. Because in intra-document links, we can scroll. So these are used for hover, active, link, visited, target. These are used for elements in different states. So you know already here, let me give a simple fast example here. You can apply anywhere. It's not like image. For example, suppose we are having a hyperlink, some Amazon like this, and href is equal to amazon.in. You see now, that is the link. We want to change the appearance on mouse over. We want to change the appearance on button click. Then you can simply put option anchor colon hover. That means when mouse is over. When mouse is over, then just I will give color as green. And what we will do is we will put underline. Text decoration as what? Underline. Anchor link means in normal state. Text decoration as what? None. That means normally underline will not be there. When mouse is over, it will be green. And text decoration, we have to set it to underline. Generally, text decoration underline, here you see now, I just keep link. Link means every state of link will come. It is going to set every state of link. We have to define here. Text decoration have lot of options. I will tell you in next concept. Text decoration means text decoration style, text decoration size, underline, how many pixels, what type of underline. You need to tell all this. When you define all these, those options will apply for that. But you cannot use this link when you are using it. I will remove this link. That means text decoration is none. That means what happens? Nothing is there. Now mouse over it will work. So either you use link or you use hover, any one. If you say link, it will apply at every state. On hover or normal, every state it will apply. So we can move the mouse and we can apply on mouse over. When user hold down, that is called active. How you can apply? Anchor colon what? Active. I think already I explained this while working with hyperlinks. How to change a link, v link, body section related attributes also we learned. So I will put color as some red. When it becomes active, when you move the mouse onto it, hold down the mouse button, then it is active. Right? You have hover, you have active, and you have normal. There are different stages here: hover, active, and normal. You already know visited and target. Visited means if link is already visited, you can change the color. Anchor what? Visited link color. Color is what? Gray. And you can see visited link color will be gray. This already I explained while learning body section and hyperlinks. You remembered in body section we learnt about A link and V link. A link is active link. V link is for visited link. That you can apply through CSS also, which I showed you in hyperlinks concept. While working with hyperlinks, we discussed this, but don't think that this is only for hyperlink. You can use for different elements. It's not only for hyperlinks. For example, hover, active, see, I will copy this. I will show you our pages where we have public. You remembered intra document links. In intra document links, here I think this is the example. When user clicks, it highlights. Am I right? This example already I showed you. And here we used that class. What is that class? Target. Already we discussed about that, how to create such target and use them. So many classes already we learned. I'm just giving a simple list in order. Right? So many classes we already discussed. So here, this is not only for anchor. I will remove this. Suppose you are having an image source. It is having some images / public images, some fashion. So width is some 100, height is some 200, like this. And wherever body is there, I will just give display as flex, justify content center, align items center, and height I will give as 100 VH. Viewport height. Viewport height means it will adjust according to screen. Now you see here, the image is very small. On mouse over, I want to increase its size. Then just we have to use IMG hover. So width I given as some 300 pixel. and height I given as 400 pixel. Then you see when mouse is over, it will be large. When mouse is out, it will be normal. That means we can apply that hover with a lot of effects. We can add any kind of effect. That is mouse over. But see here, when mouse is over, this is called initial state. And when mouse is over, that is final state. Again, from final state to initial state. How much time it is taking? Very fast, fraction of millisecond. If you want to delay that, you can apply some effect here. What you can do is, so you can control the transformation dynamically. You can control the transformation dynamically by configuring transition attributes. We have transition attributes like transition duration, transition delay, transition property, transition timing function, like this. Transition duration, transition delay, transition property, transition timing function, all this. So these are used to control. That means how we can manage the transformation dynamically. If you are applying any dynamic class, you can control that by using this. For example, see now, I will not give size for image. And I will give here image initially, size width will be 100 and height will be 100. And on hover, the width will be changed to how much? 300 and 400. And it is taking very fast. To change that, it is taking very fast. We will do one thing. We will apply transition duration. How much time it should take to convert to 300? Suppose it should take 3 seconds. You can give milliseconds or seconds. If I say 3 seconds, you see now, when I move the mouse onto it, it will take 3 seconds to convert. And again, when move the mouse out, it will be immediately normal. When I move the mouse onto it, it will take 3 seconds and it will be immediately on. If you want back also same, or different timings you can apply. What you can do here, this is the initial state. Initial state we give what? Transition, how much? Duration, suppose 1 second. That means it will come slowly, zoom, and it will go fast, normal. We can control the timing. You can set this as 5 seconds. Then you can see it will come in 3 seconds zoom and it will slowly go to normal state. It will take 5 seconds to go to normal. That is transformations. You can easily control them by using this. That is called transition duration. You have lot of options here. See, the first one is duration. Now when I move the mouse, when the animation is starting, animation is starting immediately. No, it should wait for 2 seconds and start. Animation should not start immediately. It should delay. Then we can give transition delay. Transition delay. How much delay? Suppose 2 seconds delay. Then when I move the mouse onto it, immediately it will not come. It will stop 2 seconds and it will start. That means you can set the delay time. When you move the mouse onto it, it will not start animation immediately. It will wait for 2 seconds, then it will start. That is done by using delay. We can add transition delay. So you can control the transformation by using duration, another one delay. One more point is not only changing the size. When mouse is over, I will apply here border. Border as 10 pixel solid and some color I will put as black. Suppose you see now when mouse is over, the border have to come. You see the border is coming and it is normal. Observe carefully. Initially, I will put here border as 1 pixel solid and the color is red. Initial color of border is red. Final color of border is black and it is 10 pixel. And you see now when I move the mouse, here you can see that slowly the red changes to black. Slowly it changes the red to black and black to red. That means remember, when I move the mouse onto it, it is not immediately changing the color. It is not immediately changing the color. I move the mouse outside. It is slowly changing the color to red. I hope you observed that. That means timing is applied for both the size and border. I don't want timing to apply for border. I want timing to apply only for width and height. Width and height. Then what you can do is you can write here transition property. Transition property, we say width and we say height like this. That means you see now when I move the mouse onto it, you can see width and height. Width and height are not working. Only border is working. That means which property is taking the timing? Only border is taking the timing. So is timing applied for width and height? It is not applied for width and height. That means you can control which property you want. Suppose you want to control border. You can write here transition property is what? Border. If I give transition property border, width and height is working, border is not working. That means which property you don't want, you can remove it. The timing will not apply for that. Otherwise, for all of them, timing will apply. If you want anything to remove, you can apply by using transition property. So what is duration? It defines how much time it should take to transform. Delay indicates do the animation need to start immediately or after some time, that you can control using delay. Do you want to apply timing for all effects, all attributes, or any specific? If you don't want for any specific, you can define by using what? Transition property. Transition property. Another important is timing function. Timing function means ready-made functions are present. Ready-made functions you can apply. Ready-made functions means I will show you here. I am not writing the property. Ready-made functions I will give like this. Transition timing function. You see a list of ready-made functions will be there. You can choose any function. We have like ease in, ease out. We have like cubic Bezers. You see so many are there. You can select them. Actually, they are ready-made effects. You can choose any of these effects. For example, I will give here as ease in effect I am giving. When I move the mouse onto it, observe carefully. Any difference you can find? When I move the mouse onto it, ease in effect I am giving. Can you see any? Can you identify anything different? Actually, there is little different. The animation starts slow and it will catch speed towards end. That is called ease in. Slowly animation starts towards the end, speed increases. So that means if I say transition duration 10 seconds, let's see. I move the mouse onto it, 10 seconds I given. Ease in means slowly animation starts and towards the end, the speed of animation increases. Little fast it will increase. Am I right? Slowly it started and it increases. If you want to see more difference, then instead of ease in, ease out, because these are minor changes, you can directly give steps. I will give steps. How many steps? Suppose 10 steps. And you will see now, when I move the mouse onto it, it will take 10 steps to change. That is step by step changing. In 10 steps, it will get the size. When I move the mouse outside, it will be normal. That means steps is a ready-made effect. We can apply that ready-made effect. Suppose I want steps only 5. Then you see when mouse is over, then you can see in 5 steps, it will finish. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 like this, it will finish. You can control such ready-made effects and you can apply. Mouse is over, normal. These are the options you can apply. So what is duration? Here I will give the point. Duration specifies total time taken to complete transformation. Delay defines the delay time to start animation. You say start transformation. You have property allows to configure effects only for specific attribute. Timing function is a predefined animation function. It's a predefined animation function. We write like this: image hover, we can set width 300 pixel, height some 400 pixel, and the transition duration 2 seconds, transition delay 1 second, transition property, border, and the transition timing function like steps some 5. We can have a lot of effects. Generally, when we apply dynamic classes, they immediately affect. If you don't want to immediately affect, you want some time, so that user can observe what is happening. Then you can put these transitions. Transitions are optional. Without transition, you can see hover working. So that is the hover class. Instead of hover, you can give active. What is difference between hover and active? Hover means mouse over. Active means hold down the button. You move the mouse onto it and hold down the button, then it will start. Actually, that is active. I will give one example for this. And this is the example. Let me copy. That's the example we have for this. These are all dynamic classes. You just change from hover to active and you can test. So active, I showed you, when hold down the button, it will work. That means just let me change this. We will change this from hover to what? Active. Hover to active. And see now, when mouse pointer is over, nothing is happening. When it will start, when you hold down the button, when I hold down the button, then it will start the animation in 2 seconds, or that you see it will start the animation. I release the button. That means it will be normal. Until I hold down, it will work. It is not mouse over and mouse out now. It is mouse down and mouse up. You can control such effects by using this. These come under the category of dynamic pseudo classes. Next important category we have element state pseudo classes. Element state pseudo classes. Element state pseudo classes, you have options like focus. You have class like blur. You have like checked. You have like disabled. You have like read only. These are element state pseudo classes. We call them element state pseudo classes. Element state pseudo classes, we have focus, blur, checked, disabled, read only, like that. Generally, focus means when element gets the focus. Let's see here, for example, I think we discussed already checked, you saw it. Checked, we already learned that. I showed you in checkbox. Na? Checkbox have checked. We learned how to set colors and all. You see now here how this works. Actually, these are nothing but we are defining some data list and data terms, some username and data definition. Here we can just put a text box, input type text, and it will have a class called user, or we can put an ID called what? User name. And here we will put a simple data definition. Yeah, below that we will put a div. This div we will put as user name required. Actually, this username required should not display. It should display only when user clicks inside. When user clicks inside, then it should display. Required or some more tips you want to show. When user clicks outside, it should disappear. When user clicks inside, it should show the tip. Outside, it should disappear. It's for username or password, anyone. So for example, now what we are doing, we are accessing hash username. This is what? Text box. And we want to access the div after text box. Then how to access div after text box? Plus we have to use div. It's display as none. That means it will not display. When to display? When user clicks inside, it should display. That means what we will do? How to know whether user clicks inside? We will put what? Username colon. Colon is what? So not hover. It is what? Focus. Focus means it gets focus. When it gets focus, so what should happen? When it gets focus plus div, that means the div after that display should be blocked. Display none to hide, display block to show. And you see now, I click inside, it should display that message. I click outside, it should hide. That is what actually focus. This you can give for anyone. Suppose there is data term password and data definition input type is password. And you have an ID called password. For password, some tip I want to display. The tip is nothing but we have to just give a div. So we need to put a message saying that password, so 4 to 15 characters, at least one uppercase like that. This is what we want to display. Initially, it should not display. So what we will do? Here we will write hash. What is it? Password. Password, actually, we have an option called blur. We can use blur. The latest CSS is not using this blur anymore. What is the advantage is latest CSS can identify that if it is not focused, then it is blur. That's the reason you don't need to use this anymore. No more blur. Just we have to say if it is what? Focus. If it is focus, actually, if it is normal, that means it is blurred only. If it is blurred, what should happen? Div. Display. Display as what? None. Then password. Password is having focus and the div beside it display should be what? Block. I will put color as red also. And you see now, I click in the password, it will show the message. That is focus. When you click outside, it will hide. When user goes into it and tries to type something, then it will display these tips. These are called element state. Element state means on focus and on blur. So this blur is obsolete now. We don't have this. We don't need this. I will give as what? Obsolete. Obsolete means, no longer in use. Obsolete is no longer in use. Right. Another option is read-only, disabled, checked. Checked already we learned. Read-only disabled is nothing but you see now. Suppose I am giving username with a value, John. Username is having some value. Can I modify that username? You can modify that username. So how you know that you can modify or not? Until or unless you click inside and start typing, you don't know that. Am I right? Why? Because if I give read only, it looks same as previous. Right? If I give read only, it looks same as previous. That means I go inside, click there, username required. I'm trying to type something. It's not working. It is not working. That means when I know that I cannot type anything, until or unless I click inside start typing, I don't know. Then we can put a simple status like this. What you can do is you can write hash. What is it? Username. If username text box is read only, if it is read only, then put cursor. You put cursor as not allowed, not allowed cursor. Not allowed is a cursor. You see, when I move the mouse, it will show like this, so that user can understand that he can't do any operation here. When mouse over, it will display because it is read only. If I remove read only, it will not show. I remove read only, then you can see it is not going to display that. It is not going to display that. It is normal now. If it is read only, you add read only, then automatically it is going to display that. It is going to show. That is how we can manage. So this is very important. Another option is there. What is it? Disable. I already told you, you can put read only or disable. Suppose we have a button. This is register. And this button is currently disabled. Actually, disabled have automatically some effect. Disabled buttons look gray. You cannot click. If you want, you can change that effect. How to change the effect is you can simply write button and what is the class? Disabled. If button is disabled, then background color we will put some yellow. Then you can see it will get an yellow color. If it is disabled, you can add lot of effects. And if I remove disabled, you remove disabled from that button, then it will be normal. That yellow color will come only when you put what? Disabled. When you put disabled attribute, then only it will display that. This all comes under which one? Element state. Element state means on focus, on blur, on read only, on disabled. These all status of particular element. These are different states of element. Read only is a state, disabled is a state, focus is a state. Checked state already we learned with checkbox, and I am not going to discuss again that because we already learned checkbox checked, turn to green color, show a button. Already I showed one example on that. So these are the options. So focus, this is nothing but effects on element focus. So this is effects when element lost focus. Checked when checkbox, when checkbox or radio checked. When element is disabled. And read only when element set to read only. These are the effects. These are element state pseudo classes. Just I will give some syntactical point here is. So if username is read only, then we put some cursor. Cursor as not allowed. Something like this. These are element state. Checked as we already learned, so no need of any example for that. Here example I will give you. This is the example. Let me copy that example. That's the example for how the focus and other options work. This all comes under element state pseudo classes. Why you need to know these so many classes? Because these are all very important in designing forms and validations. Because even in future, when you are learning your Java, .NET, other technologies, when you design forms, majority of validations are handled, displayed with all these options. And next important category is, that is number 5. We have element validation state pseudo classes. Element validation state pseudo classes. Validation state pseudo classes, we have like required, we have like optional, we have like in range, we have like out of range, we have like valid and invalid. Valid, invalid, I already explained in regular expression. While learning regular expression pattern, I told you how to put a message for valid and invalid. So required, optional, in range, out of range, valid, invalid. These are related to validations. So just one important example I will show you here. Suppose we have this form. Let's remove these effects. Yeah. Actually, suppose all these fields required. Suppose below this text box, username text box is there and password text box is there. Okay, and a register button is there. Username, password, oh, fine. And you see now, in this username, password, and one more data term is age. We will put it input type as number, and ID I will give as age. This time I am giving IDs in order to access in CSS. And observe here, suppose I am giving password with required. Now, how do we know which one is required? You given required, but how user knows which one is required? Until or unless he submits, he don't know. Because you learned already that when user submits, it pops up saying that this field is required. Please fill out this field. Have you seen that? Right. But before they submit, they should know. So if any field is required, generally what website people do is they put a red star mark beside that field. So if a field is set with required, I want a just star mark. Then see here, and remember, in different situation, different fields can be set required. That means what they do is, in one situation they say that name is required, in another situation they say that name and age required, in another situation they say that password required, like that. So I will put here a span with asterisk. I will put a span because beside. For all the 3 fields, I am giving a span asterisk. You can see all 3 fields have star marks. But it should display star mark only for the field which is having required. Then we will simply apply the effect like this. What we do is, we will accept all input, all of them. Why? Because if I want to access one by one, it will take time, because all 3 are having same. Input means all three text boxes. And beside that input, plus what? Span. Plan. The color I will give as red. We are keeping red color for that span. That means all are red color. But that star should display only when required is mentioned. So what we will do here, we will write a simple condition like if this is like input colon, we have a class called required. That means if it is defined with required, then the span beside it will be color red and it will display. That means what we will do. So display as what? Inline. Display block means below. Display inline means beside. Then you can see that it is going to display only here red mark is there. Others it should hide. Then what we will do? We will accept input spans beside display as what? None. And you see others will be hidden. Now, for example, I will go to age field. And for age field, I am adding required. Then automatically a star mark will come. For password field, I will remove required. Then automatically that star mark will be removed. For username, I am adding required. For username, I am adding required. Then you can see it will put the star mark. That means that star mark is not standard. It is changing. It is applied only for the fields that are having required. Remember, it's not necessary that you have to put a star mark. Even you can highlight the text box with red color. Suppose all required fields must be red. Then what we will do? Here we can simply write the logic like this. What is it? We have to write again. If input is what? Required. Then for that input, we will put a border 1 pixel solid red color. And you can see those two will be red color. And if I remove required for age, you can see that age will not have any red border or star. We can apply anything, shadow, border, background, anything. You can apply effects directly to input, or you can apply effects to the field beside. That you can do by using this required attribute. You can do another way. If not required, it is called as what? Optional. Suppose I will give here, wherever input fields are there and they are optional, what should happen? I will keep border as some 1 pixel solid, some gold color. Then you can see optional fields are gold color. Required fields are red color. And you change, suppose I remove this also required, then all are optional. I say password as required, then password as required. Then password will change to red and star mark will come. That is good. We can apply such effects and we can configure that effects here. This is basically done by required. Another one, option. In range, out of range is used for number input. If you are using number input, you can use in range and out range. How you know in range and out range? See, for age, I am giving here. For age, I am defining what is it? We will keep min as what? 15. Max as what? Some 30. And the value is 22. Like this we define. Now usually the min and max are here like this. Generally what happens, we can scroll down and it will not go less than 15. That's good. You don't need any validation because it is not going less than 15 and it is not going above 30. But what is problem is, it allows to type. When it allows to type, I can type a lengthy value. That means it's not that you have to select only through up down arrows. You can directly type a value, then it is wrong. Then how to show the message? And that means you have to write condition again. So we will put a div. We will keep a div. This div contains age 15 to 30 only. That's the message. Now we have to write the condition here. We have to access hash what? Age. Age, if it is in range, that means within the range, then the div beside display should be what? None. If the age is out of range, then display should be what? Block. It should display block, and we will put color as what? Red. And you can see now, as of now, nothing is there because 22 is okay. And here I am clicking. I will remove this span now. I don't want this. And you see now, I am just clicking here. I go down. I cannot go less than 15. But if I start typing smaller value, it shows that message. If I remove that, so and I apply, you see it is displaying like this. And the color red we given for whom? Color red we given for. So for range we have given, we will give for what? Div. For div we will display that. And you can see now, and I type some wrong value, then it will display that. So if I give the value 3, you can see that 3 is also not allowed. It is not allowed. And I am entering like suppose some other value like some 18, it is valid. Any another value, it is not valid. It will allow only the value. Anything else, it will show the message. That you can control by using in range, another one out of range. These are used for what? These are used for number input and out. Valid, invalid, already I explained. For pattern, while working with pattern, I showed you how to put valid and invalid. Already we discussed that. So this is example. Required is for input fields with required attribute. Optional. So this is for input without required. In range. Sets effects when value, numeric value is within numeric range. And same sets value if value is sets effects when value is out of range. Sets effects when value is valid. And same effects when value is invalid. These are the effects. Syntactically, if I say here age in range and the div some display as none. If age is out of range, then display as block. Div. That's how we apply the effect. Some color as red. These are element validation steps. right? Now, after that, some more selectors are there that we will see in next session how to handle them. Okay. And in next session, we will finish all the selector part and we will finish the basic CSS what you need. Remember, this is not a UI development batch. This is only HTML JavaScript. So that is the reason here you will not learn all CSS, graphics, animations, effects and all. That is for front-end UI people, right? You will learn only what is needed for your backend. That's only the part you are going to learn. Then CSS, Bootstrap basics once we know, then we will start JavaScript soon in 1-2 days working with them. We will go into the concept of working with JavaScript. While working with JavaScript, simultaneously, we will be doing more CSS and Bootstrap, right? So we are going to start JavaScript working with that in 1-2 days. Once we finish all the basic CSS part, right? Tomorrow we'll continue then, okay? Right.